Hello and a very warm welcome. Driver ratings for the German Grand Prix. All 20 drivers covered. 0's awful, 10's phenomenal. You know how it works now. And that German Grand Prix was the best race of the season. Yes, there was more wheel-to-wheel action at Silverstone, but Germany had everything. From safety cars, crashes, experienced drivers making mistakes, big crashes, spins, Stroll in the lead at one point, Danny Kyvat on the podium, Vettel from last. There was actually quite a lot of overtaking in the race, to be fair, down in turn 6 mainly, but yeah, here we go. Driver ratings, all 20 drivers covered. Let's jump into it. Pierre Gasly. Oh, Pierre. 2 out of 10. Great in Silverstone, back down to reality. Practice 2, smashes the car up, again puts a dent in his confidence. He bounces back on Saturday with a decent qualifying for P4, and then in the race, I mean, your teammate wins the race, Gasly should be up there, he should be on the podium, and then to put it all in on Pierre Gasly, he's already having a tough time as it is. Kyvat goes and sticks it on the podium, in the sister car by the way, so the summer break's coming up. 100%, in my opinion, this is what will happen. Danny Kyvat will get his promotion to Red Bull, and Gasly will get demoted to Toro Rosso, because there's like a 3-week break in between Hungary and Spa. So it's easy enough to do. And yeah, he crashed with Albon, Gasly. Did Albon move twice, but hit him, went down the escape road, ended his race there. Max, 10 out of 10. He's P2 in qualifying. He wins an epic race of the season. He has a spin. He's on the mediums. He spins going through the curbs. I mean, overtakes Stroll for the lead. It's an easy overtake. He dominated the race really after Hamilton hit the wall. Max, he's in a league of one, isn't he? He's a world-class driver. I mean, the attendance, the crowd he brings to the races is phenomenal. And yeah, he's been driver of the season so far. Sebastian Vettel, 10 out of 10. And that is quite strange when he qualified 20th. But it wasn't his fault he was 20th. He didn't get to do qualifying, so he starts last. I mean, and then amazing, last to P2. Mistake free in the race. Obviously in 2018 had that big mistake. And yeah, quali didn't get to go out, but in the race, I mean, yeah, Vettel, he lost the race in 2018 in changeable conditions. I don't remember him putting a foot wrong today, so yeah. Now, Charles Leclerc, 3 out of 10. Should have been on pole. Another reliability issue for Ferrari on both cars, which was quite strange. And then he's looking good in the race. He was on fresh inters. He was closing down Bottas and Max at the time. Like, he was 3 seconds faster at one point. And then on the ice rink, pushing his luck every time. He was out there 2 or 3 times. Had an unbelievable save. And then gets on it, just careers into... And once you get on it, there's no stopping it. So, disaster for Leclerc. He made one at Baku, he's made one at Germany. I like Charles Leclerc, but he's got to stop making them errors, man. Right, Lewis Hamilton, 1 out of 10. And the only reason I've given him 1 is because he got pole position. Otherwise it would have been 0. 2 huge mistakes. I mean, he is allowed an off day, yes, but I rate these as I see him. No favouritism. 2 massive mistakes in the race. Got on the ice rink, lost the part of his front wing, then went the wrong side of the bollard, gets a penalty, and then going into turn 1, loses it again, finishes up 11th, and out the points. He was looking so good, and then it just all fell apart. Valtteri Bottas, 1 out of 10. Huge mistake in the race, crashed the car, smashed the car to smithereens. Disaster for Mercedes. He could have gained points on Lewis Hamilton, and he's tossed it away by pulling it in the wall. Now this one is probably my most painful rating. Nico Hülkenberg. He deserves a hell of a lot more than I'm giving him, because he was sensational. 3 out of 10 for Hulkenberg. And the reason I've given 3, it's driver error. It's his fault he retired from the race. He was phenomenal in the race. I thought finally he's going to get that podium that eludes him. And he makes a mistake. So that's why I've dropped him. He was racing beautifully. Qualifies P9. Beats Ricciardo all weekends. And then he goes and makes a massive howler. I've done this wrong. I've put Sainz next, but Ricciardo's 2 down. Usually I do it team order, but anyway, we'll go in. Carlos Sainz, 9 out of 10. Consistent once again, really consistent. He picks up them points like a vacuum cleaner. Has a spin on the ice rink, but comes back and finishes P5. Brilliant. Lando Norris, 2 out of 10. A very poor average weekend for the Briton. Blocked Albon in qualifying. Retired in the race. Loss of power. So yeah, I thought Albon, Norris was quite poor. And another guy who I thought was poor, Daniel Ricciardo, 2 out of 10. Didn't look himself all weekend in my opinion. There was something up with Ricciardo this weekend. Don't know, it just didn't seem right. That's just my opinion. Qualifies P13 was, I mean, just think, Renault looked good in the changeable conditions. Just think where these drivers could have finished if they'd... He retired because his Renault car went up in smoke. Kimi Raikkonen, 9 out of 10. Qualifying star, P5. Solid points in the race. Again, he's another one that went wide at the ice rink, but he brought it home in P8? P7? P7. Giovinazzi, very good points. Finishes P8. Giovinazzi, 9 out of 10. Very good at points in the race. He's much improved as Giovinazzi. I thought he would have been a driver in question for his seat, but he's really picked up his performances recently. Kyvat, 10. Podium in the Toro Rosso. The first podium since Vettel in Monza in 2008. He looks a new man since he came back. Obviously he got dropped. He was dropped so many times I lose count. But on the podium in the Toro Rosso, brilliant. And congratulations to him. He's just had a baby, and then the next day he gets a podium in the Toro Rosso. And he does look a different driver since he came back. Alexander Albon, 9 out of 10. Blocked in qualifying by Norris. The race, he was running high, P4, P5 at times. He ends up finishing P6. Lance Stroll, 10 out of 10. He made it out of Q1 for the first time in, I can't even remember. Usually gets knocked out. He made it through to Q2. And in the race, he did the brave strategy. He was the first one to go to dries. He was leading the race. Lance Stroll leading the race at Germany. What were the odds on that? Then Max got past him pretty easily. And he ends up finishing 4th. World class by Stroll. Sergio Perez, 2 out of 10. Amazing qualifying. He gets P8, the Mexican, but crashed in the race. Again, a driver error. That's why I've marked him down. Stroll's up there in P4. We know Perez is good on strategy, good on tyres. Just think where these drivers who crashed out would be if they didn't have their issues. The likes of Norris, Ricciardo, Perez. Russell KUBICA, 7 out of 10. Best finish as a team, 12th and 13th. Kubica 12th, Russell 13th. They're slow, but they're very reliable. And on the TV, I don't remember seeing Kubica and Russell struggling in them changeable conditions. You'd never see much of the Williams, to be fair, but they're a slow, reliable car. I mean, have they retired from a race this season? I believe they've finished every race, off the top of my head. So yeah, no errors, but they're slow. It's just, they're going to be last. Even with all the DNFs, they were probably hoping for a couple more DNFs, and they maybe got in the points. Romain Grosjean, 8 out of 10. World class qualifying, he qualifies P6. In the points, but again, contact with his teammates. Steiner won't be happy. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the Haas debrief. They got warned about it at Silverstone, both retired at Silverstone due to contact, and they have contact again. Magnussen, 8 out of 10. He gets a point, finishes P10. What have I got? Stopped a hell of a lot. He probably did the most pit stops. I wouldn't be surprised. The contact was down into turn 6. Grosjean's on the outside, Magnussen's on the inside. And then Grosjean turned in, even though Magnussen was still down on the inside. So for me, I don't see what Magnussen did wrong there, but just my opinion. I think the Alfa Romeos are under investigation for getting radio information, but as we stand, they are 7th and 8th, but they could get a penalty. What a crazy German race. It had a bit of everything. Rain, dries, mediums, inters, wets, crashes by experienced drivers, Bottas smashing it up, safety cars. Safety car led more laps than the Ferrari did for the whole weekend. Kyvat on the podium, Lance Stroll leading a race. I mean, it had everything, the German race, honestly. Brilliant. So there we have it. Driver ratings done. Qualifying reaction done, race reaction done, driver ratings for the German Grand Prix. We go on to Hungary in a week's time, where we will be doing the same. Qualifying reaction, race reaction, driver ratings, and then we have a gap. And in between that gap, Kyvat will get in that Red Bull, Gasly will be demoted back down, and then we'll be going into La Source with Kyvat in the Red Bull and Gasly in the Toro Rosso. That's what will happen in my opinion. So, there we have it. German Grand Prix done. What a race. Unbelievable. F1 is back, ladies and gentlemen. F1 is back. Max, congratulations. Sensational. Vettel from the back. Sensational. Kyvat in a Toro Rosso gets a podium. Sensational. Stroll, brilliant. Sainz is brilliant. Who came 6? Ali Albon, good points. Alfa's consistent in the points. Haas got in the points even though they're slow. Yeah, unbelievable. Really enjoyed the German Grand Prix. Leave your comments down below. We'll always reply. Adios.